Disclaimer, Joss, Jules, and Nevermore are not professional therapists. They will be sharing their personal experiences and advice, but this is in no way a substitute for professional help. There is also a good chance of swearing, tears, and triggering conversations, so listener discretion is advised. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Slaying Demons, a podcast about facing your fears in life and being the best version of yourself. I am your host, Jocelyn, and joining me tonight are my two lovely ladies, Jules and Nevermore. Welcome back, ladies. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a very long time because we have had a change in format, folks. So basically, the Heroes bug totally bit me again, and I am loving my time in that game, and the only thing that makes that better is streaming with you guys and playing with Jules and Nevermore. So we decided that our Slaying Demons topics were getting a little bit we were getting a little bit talked out, so we thought it might be nice to move the show to a bi-weekly format. But we also wanted to hang out just as much as we always had, so we're now doing our normal podcast one week, and then we're going to do a hero stream the next week, and we're going to alternate back and forth between the two. So there will always be a Tuesday night stream. It's just half the time it will be Slaying Demons, and half the time it will be us playing Heroes, and I'm really excited because I have missed that so much. And we always have so much fun when we actually play some Heroes. So, yeah, make sure you guys come and check that out. So I apologize for us not having an episode in a really long time. There's been so much going on. We did get a couple of Heroes streams in there. But, yeah, basically what we're going to do tonight is just give an update on everything that's been going on with us. Because, holy hell, guys, we have had a lot happening over the last, 4 to 6 weeks. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Jules, you have the most super awesome, cool thing happening right away. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your condo?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I closed on my condo on Friday. Ah! Yay! It's super, super exciting, and it's super nerve-wracking because I literally, everything is just coming down to the last minute with the mortgage, and they just gave me the final numbers today, so I have to know how much money to go get the check from the bank for and close on Friday morning. And
isn't
then
it
it's
so,
all,
I mean, well, so this isn't your first time buying, right?
No, it's not.
So
I kind of know what I got to do, but it's still a big pain in the butt.
Yeah, because, okay, so part of what's been going on with Matt and I is basically we had a bit of a scare with our roommates. There was some super awesome chance for them to potentially buy another house. And so we thought they were going to have to sell their home, which we currently live in.
Yeah.
We thought they were going to have to turn around and sell their home within, a couple of weeks sort of thing. So Matt and I kind of looked at each other and went, holy shit, we have to go buy a house because we need somewhere to live. And so we also kicked off the whole, steps to actually buying a home, and right around that exact same time we also got a $3,000 tax bill, so I had a little bit of a I don't want to adult anymore breakdown. But yeah, I know at least for me, when we started looking at homes and talking to the bank and getting down payment stuff together and all the rest of it, I have never, ever, ever spoken in terms of numbers the size of what I'm speaking about and thinking about now. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. The biggest, I guess, kind of loan and payment numbers and stuff that I've had to deal with prior to a home was my student loan. Yes. And this is literally 5 to 6 times the size of my student loan. And I'm just yep. I think I'm going to throw up in my mouth.
Yeah, and when you start thinking about the just the gravity of what you're putting yourself into debt for, which is a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
equity and property owning and all of those things, tax write-offs, and it's your own place and nobody else has got access to it but you. But it is, it's humbling. You're just like, how much money do I have to break the closing?
It's just, it seems like everything is just so much bigger than the scale that I'm used to dealing in. I mean, like when you're talking about dollar amounts, when you're talking about like just time, like this is something we're going to be paying off for 25 years. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I've lived for 32, so this is basically like the length of time I've lived is the amount of time I'm going to be paying off this mortgage. And just when you start thinking about things in that kind of a mindset, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't even wrap my head around the size of these numbers or the length of this time. It's just, it's crazy to me.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't even think about it in terms of how long it will take to pay it off, because most likely you don't, I mean, unless you're super lucky, you just don't stay in that one place for
Oh, I thought you were going to say you
ever.
just never pay it off. And I'm like, Jules, that's not helping.
No. I've owned now 4 homes, I think, over the time frame, being married and single and that kind of thing. And I've, of course, never fully paid off a mortgage to the length of its term.
Right.
So yeah, I don't even think of it from that perspective. But when you say it like that, you're just kind of like, Murr.
Well, because even if we do decide to move, right, and buy a different home, it's like we're still gonna have like another mortgage sort of thing. So
Yeah.
it's like once you start this process, then it's like you're gonna be paying the bank back for the next like 30, 40, whatever years, once you, like, depending on how many 25-year mortgages you kind of stack up, if you know what I mean. Like, well, because you might get 5 years into this one and then buy a new house, and then that's a 25-year mortgage. So then your 25-year mortgage really was like 30 years, and then maybe you wait another 5 years, and then, oh, yep, new house, new mortgage, another 25 years. It's like pushing it. Like, oh, God.
Yeah. No kidding. And here they do 30-year mortgages. So that's what I'm getting at least. So
yeah.
So yeah, I'll be in my 70s when that thing is paid off if I run its term. So yeah, just to think of it that perspective.
Yeah, and we're kind of trying to think of, we're trying to get a home and we're trying to think of what we're going to need, which is really, really difficult because, again, you're trying to think in terms of like all of these big, huge life things, and we're like, oh my God, I thought my mother-in-law, or like Matt's mom, she was here this past weekend. Our moms met this past weekend, which was a
First time?
First time, yeah. So that was kind of a big deal. But before my mom got there, Matt's mom, we were just kind of sitting on the couch talking. We were talking about houses and house hunting, and I was saying like, yeah, we're trying to find a place that's like big enough for us, and we want to have a guest room. I need an office. We need at least one kid's room. And like, I thought she was just gonna go like lose her shit. She was like, just the look on her face was like, don't freak out, be very excited, but don't freak out, this is amazing, but don't say anything. She had the cutest look on her face.
Oh.
So it's just like we're trying to find that so that we don't have to, do a lot of moving and a lot of, but I mean, that just, it's so stressful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that you are dealing with the hunting part and the preliminary part.
Yes,
and,
we are very much in the preliminary stages.
And I know that's stressed so bad, and I'm thankful to be on the tail end of it. I have the move coming up on Tuesday next week, so once that's done, I'll breathe a huge sigh of relief. But you know what? It's when you this is your first purchase, right? You've not bought a home before.
Right. I've always rented.
Okay.
Yeah. And we were kind of, it still might happen, that we need to rent because basically, so the house that they were thinking of buying ended up kind of falling through. They were almost like a backup because basically what happened was, my roommate, her family is very, very, very tight-knit, and her cousin's neighbor decided they were going to sell the house. It was on a lot of land. It was in a really good spot, obviously right next to her cousin. They have young kids, so it would have been really good for my roommate's kids. And all the rest of it. So, and the guy selling the house didn't want to do it through realtors. He talked to my roommate's cousin and was like, okay, if you can, someone in your family, someone wants to buy, we'll do it with lawyers, but no realtors, will save all the fees and everything else. So it would have also then, in that way, saved them a ton of money and been a really good deal. So they were thinking that they were going to buy it, but they were like the backup offer, I guess. And the first offer that they thought was going to fall through ended up actually going through, so then they didn't get the house. So we're no longer on any kind of like crazy timeline, but they're also talking about having a second kid, which is amazing because their first kid is adorable and I love him and I would steal him if I could. But he's, so they want him to be a big brother sooner rather than later. And kind of when that happens, like, we need to leave. We've already been here longer than we kind of planned originally. So we are at the point where we should be going. And so now we've kind of taken steps financially. We've moved some stuff around and lowered some interest rates and stuff. And so like consolidated and gotten lower interest rates, and we're paying off all of our things, and we're financially in a really good place now. But yeah, we might still end up, depending on how our roommates' timelines move, might dictate whether we end up renting or if we can actually have the time we need to get a house. So yeah, we're still kind of up in the air about what we're going to be doing, but we are definitely looking, and it's quite stressful because we're not quite right in the place where we would be putting offers on things. Mm-hmm. So then we're seeing a lot of stuff like go up and get sold and go up and get sold, and we're going to look at places and we're like, okay, I kind of like this, but do we like this enough to, kind of pull the trigger? And we're like, and then we've got our realtor pressuring us and the bank pressuring us, and I'm just like, everybody stop. This is like, There's 3 zeros on the end of numbers that I'm used to talking about. Like, I'm used to talking about $200. You're talking about $200,000, and I need a minute to wrap my brain around that. Yeah.
Yes. It's crazy. So, wow.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really nuts. And like, not that I didn't, I'm ready for this, and it's not that I didn't think that this was going to happen, but now that it's, like, super real and happening, I'm kind of freaking the fuck out a little. In a good, happy way, but, like, the first couple of weeks especially when we thought that our roommates were going to sell the house, I was one just gigantic ball of don't talk to me, like, the smallest little things, which actually is probably a really good kind of segue into one of Nevermore's updates that she wants to talk about. But I was like, don't fucking talk to me. I can't deal with anything. Like, the smallest little things, like the cat bit my leg and I cried for an hour. Like, it just, like the smallest little things would just like totally set me off. So I'm doing better now because I think we have a better plan in place going forward, and we kind of know what we want, and we're not being rushed, and like the sky is not falling. So I feel a lot better now than I did a few weeks ago. But man, even just doing the looking part has been really, really stressful because I'm almost afraid that we're going to find the perfect place and then we're going to miss out on it. And that hasn't really happened yet because we haven't been at the point where we can put offers in. So we haven't actually put an offer in and been rejected yet. And I feel like when that happens, I'm going to have trouble dealing with that.
I know how that goes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's not easy. It isn't. But you know what? The thing about it is that there's people that can help you get through it. And, and Matt is going to be right there too, to do that.
Yep.
Most definitely. But like huge updates, man. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, it was definitely. It was crazy. It was a lot. Oh, it was a lot. So, Nevermore, did you want to talk a little bit about Phoenix Comic-Con first, or?
Well, it's just funny because, like, how you guys talk, like, I just see things. So, I'm totally picturing like this giant roller coaster where Jules has already done all the scary shit, like spun around, and she's like,
she's doing like the whooshy part at the end where they slow you down.
And I'm like way back in the line, like going, nope, like not ready for that. Nope, like pushing other people past me, like nope. because we just decided that we're renewing our lease for the teeny tiny apartment, because we're not anywhere close to being ready like both of you are getting to. So, yeah, we will be here for a little while. As far as me and stress and stuff, because you guys have had your own fair share, it sounds like, and getting ready for more. I had Phoenix Comic-Con, which was crazy, and it was very busy, and the prep for it really stressed me out. I was not prepared at all. Illidan would have been like, yep, looking at you, like you're
Saw that coming.
not ready at all. And it happens every year. We have it, time goes by, you don't think about it, and then all of a sudden it's like right there again. I think last year I was freaking out at like 50 to 60 days till it was happening. This time it hit me at like 3 weeks. 3 weeks away, and I was like, oh fuck, I have nothing new made. Like since not last con, but I did a small show last summer, which I'm doing again this year for my second time, because it actually was really, really good for me. It's a small board game convention. But anyways, so I didn't have anything new since I prepped for that. So I like freaked out and panicked about that. And I also freaked out and panicked because I always get nervous about the tax stuff leading up to it, because the last couple of years they've been cracking down on it a little bit, just making sure people have their stuff together. Usually you show up, you pay your $50 for whatever it's for with the city, and then you can get your paperwork, go to your booth, and then they gave you a sticker and stuff. So anyway, I was like, all right, that's how it's been the last 2 years or whatever. Didn't think anything about it, but I always stress until I get past that point. Like it's always how it is. Like, because I'm like, oh my God, they're not going to let me vend. Oh my God, they're not going to let me vend. This year was different. They sent an email that said, hi, you're on our list for tax enforcement. And I was like, oh my God, like this is so much worse. Like if I don't figure this out, like I'm going to show up and they're going to be like, ma'am, we need to talk to you and we're going to arrest you. And like,
please step over to the side.
Exactly. And like, I'm going to be this huge example of everybody else has their fucking life in order and I'm the one who's going to get like taken to jail. So like my mind just spins out of control with disaster thinking in those instances because I get so stressed out and worked up. So I was stressed out about that. I was stressed about not having a ton of stuff ready. Is it okay to keep talking about it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So freaking out about it, Jules had started doing her chainmail stuff lately. So it came about that I was like, well, do you want to stream? Because that would be like how we talked about it forever ago. A good way for me to have accountability for what I'm doing, because otherwise I'll sit on the couch, start to do something and just slide it off to the side and then just veg out and not do anything. So anyway, in my like stressed, blinder, focused mode of like, I just need to get stuff done. I just need to make stuff. I need to sit down to do it. Jules and I were streaming and I have no idea what I'm doing. In the roundabout way of me being focused on me and trying to get my stuff together, I hurt Jocelyn. Because forever, fast forward, rewind, zoom backwards in time, you know, she was very excited for me to finally start streaming when we had talked about this forever ago, I think on here, just to get things going and be the first one to help me with it and everything. And my brain wasn't in that mode at all. Like I was just needing to get my stuff done. Jules was working on her stuff. It was just, it clicked in that moment. I was so focused on me and what I needed to do that I didn't really think about that it would hurt Jocelyn because she had wanted to do it with me first. And in this huge roundabout snowball effect of stress crap on like everybody's side, we started to have issues. Which I know nobody would think would happen because I didn't fucking think it would happen either. So it's been a long like couple of weeks, guys.
Yep.
So I'll let you talk about it for a minute since it's everybody's side of things.
Well, no, and I mean, I think you really hit the nail on the head with a lot of the stuff that you said. I mean, like, we had a lot going on. I just spent, 10 minutes telling everybody exactly what was going on. We thought that our roof was going to be sold right from over top of us. We all of a sudden had, banks and realtors breathing down our necks. We had Matt's grandmother passed away, so we were away for a weekend and, doing that kind of stuff and family-oriented things. And then, this ridiculously huge tax bill came in for me, and it was just like I had so much stress on my end too. And we have a shared Discord chat where the three of us talk and plan the show and all the rest of it, and it had gotten very quiet. And it just like knowing that you guys were, and we've worked through all of this, like,
we talked about
this is not news to anybody, but just like knowing that you guys were talking without me was kind of like the first, I guess, like, red flag for me. And I was kind of just like, well, what the hell? And then like, oh, and they're streaming crafty things without me. Okay, well, I'm just gonna let them leave me behind. This really sucks. I can't deal with it right now. I'm out. So yeah, but again, like, you're right. Like, we were all like, I mean, Jules, you have a ton of stuff going on too, but I know at least like Nevermore and I, we were both just like up to our eyeballs in stress already, and neither one of us could really deal with it. And it had the side effect of, unfortunately, putting Jules a little bit in the middle, because we're both like, fuck that bitch, I'm not talking to her.
And it got really, like, blown out of proportion, because we would never intentionally hurt each other, you guys. Like, obviously, that's like a huge thing. I mean, we know this, but because we're both stressed out about completely different things, Jules and I knew Matt's grandma had passed, and we knew you had mentioned the taxes, but we had no idea, like, about the house stuff, you guys. Like, we didn't know that, like, the extremeness of what was going on with her. So I think when Jules and I just started talking about it, it just kind of, once we talked about it, it was like, okay, let's do it. Like, we were just, okay, let's go,
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't with the intent to leave Jocelyn out. It just, that's the way it kind of went. And we, at the same time, like, we're like, she has a lot going on. We haven't really heard from her. Like, I know that they have stress and the family stuff going on. So we just assumed, which don't assume, you guys, because this is what fucking happens.
Conversations.
Yeah.
Because we weren't sure. And, like, we noticed it was quiet, but we're like, she's got a lot going on. It's not, we don't know, And Jules had said, I tried to reach out, but I didn't hear back. So I didn't say anything, because I was like, well, she just needs time. Huge mistake on my part, because I didn't say anything, and it was my kind of decision to do the crafting. Like, I feel like that was a huge thing more to Joss, right? Like, that made it worse towards me. Is that right?
I just felt left out, so that when big things like the house stuff was going on, I didn't feel like I could reach out and talk to you guys. And that was really kind of the worst part, because then I had all this other stuff going on. And then I put up the wall, and I was just like, well, yeah, normally I would talk to Jules and Nevermore about this stuff. Normally I would be like, just on my phone like crazy, but they don't want to talk to me, so I don't want to talk to them. wall,
the door and the wall down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Jules. I mean, and Jules, I guess, was trying her best to do it. And I just, when she mentioned she tried, I was like, okay, well, maybe she just needs time to just deal with what she's dealing with, which I had no idea that it was, like, stemming into this whole big other thing. So then finally, when we were able to get Joss to kind of talk more, it was all just coming out, and then it was, like, more directed at me, and I'm just, like, bawling, because, like, that's never my intention to be like, Joss, fuck you, like, we're not gonna hang out with you, like, screw you, that was never what I wanted. And just as soon as she kind of said that it was me, like, I broke. Like, we were already worried about her. Like, I'm so trying not to cry. Like, I just, like, we were worried. We wanted to make sure she's okay, and, like, it's this huge thing, and then just trying to talk it all out. Like, when I get sad, like, I used to be really bad. It has to totally do with the way my ex treated me. when I used to be upset, like, boom, bedroom, under the covers, dark, just quiet, like, me by myself. Ben has, like, been able to get me to come out of that a little bit over the years, to the point where I can at least be like, you know, I'm okay, I need a minute or whatever. Like, I can at least vocalize, where before, like, my body, like, tightens up, like, I can't even, like, talk sometimes. So anyway, all this is happening. Like, I'm already stressed out of my mind. She's already stressed out of her mind. Like, I was already kind of at my limit with what was going on with me, just stressing to prep. Because it's like, for that, if I don't have stuff to sell, then I'm sitting there at this expensive table being like, hey, everybody, like, don't you know who I am? Like, hey. So it was, you know, I'm freaking out about that and making the money from it, because I have to be able to renew my spot, because the wait list is ridiculous for this show. Like, they have so many vendors. And then the tax stuff. So I'm already stressed out. We're both worried about Joss. And then to find out, like, all this is happening, like, it was just this avalanche of emotion. Like, I lost it. Like, I was in my bed bawling, and Ben came home. And I was just like, it's me, like, it's my fault. And, like, he's like, you need to talk to her. I'm like, she doesn't want to hear from me. And, like, I'm breaking.
Even, like, I mean, not funny, but it was like, so by the time I got to the point where I was like, okay, spluh, everything, which I also know it's not even just in text, it's also in person. I get very, harsh, I guess. I'm very much like, okay, this is what's going on. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm fucking pissed about it. And blah, blah, blah. I'm intimidating. I've been told that more than once.
She is.
So, like,
and
I was
you have
very
to
much
understand, like, this is like our second fight, like, of our whole, like, 5-year
which is funny because I don't even remember a first. So,
well, I mean, I wouldn't even call it a fight. It was just the being upset about the raid team thing. That's what I consider our first, like, friendship issue, which was recently too, guys. It was like months ago, but still, like, within this last year. So,
but so I mean, like, I understand that I can be harsh and intimidating when I'm upset. And so I think I was just kind of being like, spluh, here's everything. And, like, my biggest issue really was that nobody had been talking to me, that I had been feeling left out, that, you know, like, as friends, we should be talking and communicating because we love each other and we want to. And I was like, here's all my things. Like, tag Nevermore. Like, God damn it. Like, say something. And you still weren't saying anything. And I was like,
part of that problem
table
is
flip.
Too, like, and this is when we're doing good, is, like, at work during the week, like, I get no signal for Discord. Like, it'll pop up notifications, but I can't, like, participate in what's happening. So that's also part of it, is, like, I'll see a message, forget about it, and then not respond. That has nothing to do with this just now, but it's also part of before. And that's, like, once you wrote your thing and then I finally wrote my big thing, I didn't even know you wrote your next huge thing until it was like 3:00 in the morning and I was packing all my Comic-Con crap. And it said it was from like 9:00 the day before in the morning. And I was like, what the fuck, Discord? Like, it hasn't shown this update the whole time. I'm like, great. Like, she already thought.
And that was the other thing. Yeah, I was like, so I'm sitting there 30 hours later going, well, fine. I guess we're just not friends anymore.
So then I'm sitting there in this, like, delusional, like, I haven't slept state, trying to, like, read what she wrote and, like, reply to what she had said, because I'm like, I don't want to, like, not acknowledge what she's saying. So I'm trying to write this semi-intelligent thing at, like, 3:00 in the morning without having slept, because that always happens before shows. I just don't sleep at all. So, yeah. So it was this huge, big deal, and I was heartbroken, you guys, like, seriously. Like, and the fact that, like, we felt like Jules is in the middle of all of it, and, like, a friend I never thought that I would have issues with. Like, I went to Comic-Con and Heather's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm fighting with Jocelyn. And she's like, and, like, her and Ted are like, what? Like, because they know that, like, that would be never a thing that would happen. So it's been a long couple weeks, but I'm glad that we were able to finally talk it out and, like, sleep on it and, like, talk through it, because I would never not want you to, like, spend time with us. So
yeah, I think we learned a lot from this experience too. We learned a lot about each other. We learned about the damage of lack of communication. And you know, but the good thing about it is that, you know, when it comes down to a friendship that you want to have last, everything else goes outside the window if you care about that person. And I think that is what overruled all of it. I mean, there were tons of hurt feelings, and there were things that were said and all of that kind of thing. But when it came down to it, it was like, I don't want to lose you, is what the other one said to each other.
Well, that's what Ben was telling me, because it's like I was scared to reply because Jocelyn's intimidating. Like, she like split it all out. And like, I mean, like I said, like, we knew something was wrong, but we just assumed that she was just busy and stressed out, and like we thought she would say something, and it was just this whole like, we both have disaster thinking, so you have to know your audience here, because like Ben was telling me too, he's like, you're thinking all these things because he's like, you need to reply to her. Like, she doesn't want to hear from me. Like, what are you listening to what I'm telling you? Like, she doesn't want to hear from me. And he's like, no. He's like, she's disaster thinking. You're disaster thinking. You need to fucking talk about it. Like, he's just being like totally like very like, this is how you do it. And I'm like, but I want to be sad. You don't understand. Like, I just found out like she doesn't, like, she's mad and it was my fault. Like, he's just this, he's like, I'm not going to talk to you for a little while until you like actually are ready to listen to me. So you have to just know, like, you have to know who you're trying to talk to, because Jules knows that Jocelyn and I are both like, woo, like, this is what's actually happening. We're way over here.
And here's me trying to pick both of them up by the scruffs of their necks and put them into the same place together.
Yeah.
And, you know, so here's the tips that I can give to you guys when it comes down to this. Never, ever, ever assume the other person's intention. Always ask. Always, always ask. You just don't know what's going on. Literally, we didn't know what was going on with Jocelyn. And there was like a ton of shit that she was going through, but she was too afraid to speak up about it because she thought we didn't care.
Yep.
And that was the downfall on all of our parts, you know. I reached out to Jocelyn privately, and she wasn't ready to talk at that point. So I told her at the end of this whole thing, I said, you just need to tell me you're not ready to talk. That's all you need to tell me. And that's all I need to know.
And I think too, and this is kind of advice that I would give to anyone who is trying to talk to somebody who seems to have kind of closed themselves off, is like, make it a little bit more directed and personal, because the message that Jules sent to me was basically just like, hey, is everything okay? Like, you know, very kind of like casual, and the kind of message that you just send to anyone for anything. And so to me, it felt really fake, which is not fair to Jules. But where I was already feeling like left out and like they didn't care, it didn't seem like it was, you know, directed at me in any way. Whereas if she had said, hey, I've noticed that you're acting like this, X, Y, and Z, and be specific. Say, like, I noticed that, you know, normally you message me on Wednesdays and I didn't see anything from you, and I know that's your quiet day and that's usually when we talk, but you didn't say anything. Like, what's going on?
Yep.
A really personal, directed message can go a really long way to make people who feel like they've been neglected feel important again. And so I think that was really the biggest part of the message that Jules sent me to try to reach out, is I read the message and just kind of went, fuck that. She doesn't actually care. Like, yeah. And it was wrong of me. And you're right. And I should have said, like, I just can't deal with this. I have too much stress. I have too much going on. We'll talk in a couple of days or something. But I didn't even feel like I owed you that. So
yeah, and I should have done that. I should have said, you know, something's going on and we need to talk about it, because I'm worried about you, you know? And so that was really, like, we learned a ton. You know, our friendship exists online. So we have to figure all of this out without having the privilege of being able to see each other's faces. And I can look at anybody and I can read them like a book most of the time when it comes to emotion. If I don't see your face, I'm kind of screwed. So
I'm a terrible liar. Like, my face hides nothing. Like, I can't be like, I'm fine, and then be like bawling. Like,
no, dude, like, I am the same way. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but whenever, especially on, for some reason on Angry Chicken, and it's probably because I'm not normally crazy opinionated and outspoken, really. So whenever I'm kind of out of my element and whenever I'm super emotional about something, you guys can probably go back and watch the VODs, and it's kind of super embarrassing, but like I like I don't want to necessarily say like break out, but like I have like a skin reaction, and you can kind of see it like near the top of my t-shirt sometimes, because my whole chest will just go like beet red. And like, so like I can't like lie when I get super intensely passionate about something. Like I can't lie. I can't hide my emotions at all, because like I start to get all red, and like my skin is like see-through white. So it's like this super stark contrast, and it's so embarrassing. But it happens all the time.
So it's easy to see it.
It's
when
so
you're in
easy
front
to
of
see
somebody.
it in person. Like I can't hide anything ever.
But you can hide online.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
like the first night that you guys jumped into Discord to try to talk about it, I was mush. Like I was in bed, like I was literally like a wreck. There was like no getting on to talk even without a camera. Like I just was not ready at that point. Like for me, like I just wasn't. Like you guys, I know Joss jumped in to talk to Jules about it because we were all in our different corners and stuff, and I was not ready. And that's okay. Like if you need a minute from something, like it's okay, but eventually, like Ben tells me all the time, like you have to get up and you have to do something, because he's right. He's like, if you want to keep your friendship, you need to fight for it. So I needed to like reply to her with how I was feeling on my side. And part of it too was that we know people who are just like, you're like, I'm dealing with this. Oh, me too. You know what I mean? And what we had kind of going on with like the tax stuff and stress and everything was very similar. And I didn't want to not value her feelings and what she was going through. And I didn't want to say that while we were talking stuff out, because I didn't want her to be like, well, you're just saying that you're stressing about tax stuff too. You know, like, so in my mind, like I felt like I couldn't explain completely what was going on, just because I wanted her, like what she was going through to matter, if that makes sense.
It can always matter. I mean, but I get it.
Just because we're going through the same things doesn't mean that mine matters any less, or you're saying, yours is invalid because I'm dealing with it too. So what else you got? Like everyone's feelings and what they're dealing with is always valid. But I do understand what you're saying, is that you felt that if you said, well, yeah, I'm stressed too because of X, Y, and Z, and you're stressed about ABC, then, you know, like you feel like there's some sort of like competition, and that's not how it is. It's never a competition. It's just like things affect people in different ways, and, you know, can make people feel different ways, even if it is the same thing going on. Like I might totally be cool with dealing with how to buy a house, but for some reason I can't figure out my taxes, and maybe you're super great at taxes, so you're like, WTF, why are you even stressed about that? Like different people, different experiences, different ways people's brains and emotions work, and every issue is if it's a big issue for them, that's all that matters, right? If somebody thinks that it's a big deal, then it is a big deal, period.
Yeah. Well, and a good friend is able to separate themselves from what they're going through to be there and at least empathize with the other people. And that is something that, you know, we aren't perfect. Three of us, we're not perfect people. And, you know, just because we have microphones in front of our faces and we've got a really strong relationship doesn't mean that it doesn't have really rocky times like this time.
And that's why we wanted to talk about it, because it's important. Yeah. Like we like love and smooch and whatever and tell each other we love each other like all the fucking time, like on Twitter and, you know, just personally. But it's important for us to show this on a show where we're talking about like dealing with your life, you guys. Like this is important.
Yes.
This is the first time we've talked, like other than we did our game week last week, but we didn't talk about this. Like we logged in and we played a game together and like de-stressed a little bit. This is the first night we've like face to face like said how we felt and like what the reaction from each other made each of us feel. So this is like out there, you guys. Like we're giving it to you.
And be real about it when you care about somebody. I mean, you know, if that person is worth it in your life, it's worth it to take a couple on the chin and not try to be the one who's right, you know, because both of these ladies took it on the chin to be able to say, I love you and I don't want to lose your friendship. And that's not easy to do. That is not easy to do at all, let alone sit in front of a camera and talk to a couple hundred people about what it is that they went through to get back to communicating as friends again. So I give these two ladies tremendous props and courage, the courage that it took to do this. I mean, you're not going to see this very often. And so, I applaud you both for putting the example forward to our audience, because that's not easy to do.
Aw, thanks, Jules. Well, we owe you a very big thank you for, for basically being our mediator.
And also, I'm sorry that, like, you got kind of thrust into, like, the middle, because, like, there is no middle. Like, even though we're technically, like, a triangle of friendship.
I was going to say, there's three of us. Eventually, there's going to be disagreements, and there's going to be a middle.
Yeah. But, I mean, for the most part, like, we don't have that. And that's... we talk about stuff, we vent when we have trouble. And I think because on all parts, we just kind of were doing our own thing. Like, that's part of it, is if you're not talking and getting stuff off your chest to your people, whoever they may be, this kind of shit's going to happen. Like, and part of it too is, like, I go to work Monday through Friday from 8 to 4, some nights I have errands, some nights Ben's recording. But I just assume they're busy all the time. Like, and that's part of it too, is like with Joss being quiet, I just assumed she was busy with rating, was busy with gaming, was busy with podcasting, was busy with stuff at home, because I knew about part of the stuff she was stressing about. I just assumed. And I was focused on me and what I needed to get done. And I wasn't thinking about my decision to stream with Jules would affect her and upset her. It's just... that's how it happened. And I'm sorry that it happened and that this all fell apart, because it was never my intention. And I love you very much, both of you.
I love you both very much too.
And I love you both very much. There's if there's ever a time in your life, if you're listening to this show, where you need some support on how to do this, send a letter, because, and not to us, to the person that you want to.
I thought she meant to us.
I totally thought she meant to us too. I was like, are we segueing to listener feedback yet? Like, okay.
We can't help ourselves, but let me just tell you how to handle your shit.
What I mean, though, is that if you can write out what you feel, sometimes it's so much harder to be able to sit in front of someone and tell them how you feel. If that is something that you struggle with, write it out. Write them a letter, like literally write them a letter and tell them how you feel. You may never send it. You might have it in front of you when you actually do talk to them, but at least your thoughts are organized. And so that's how this worked out, was that Nevermore and Jocelyn pretty much wrote letters back to each other,
Pretty much. Joss kind of spewed all her stuff out. we had like
there
was a big break, because there was a huge break, because I was overwhelmed by everything going on, and also just shocked, because even though I knew something was up, like, I just never expected it would stem because of me. So it was like this kind of retreat effect to protect myself. And actually Ben, by like stabbing me in the heart by what he said at one point, when he was trying to talk me through it, about how I needed to respond to her, and I was telling him that she doesn't want to hear from me and all that kind of stuff. And we've talked before about how I've had issues with other friends kind of like drifting apart and stuff. He's like, you don't want it to be like, and he said one of their names. And I was just like, oh, like, it hurt, because with that particular instance, like, I feel like it wasn't so much me. Like, I just felt like she had somebody that's on the other side of town. They're more friends. They hang out way more frequently. I just felt like it was like just time growth apart, Mm-hmm. And my sister and I both like kind of reached out to this person, my twin sister and I both. So when he kind of compared it to that, I think also kind of shoved me in the right direction, because obviously I was going to respond. At that point, I didn't know what to say, because I couldn't believe what was happening. You guys, it's Jocelyn. Like, it would be the same if it was Jules. Like, I would be like, what the fuck? How is this possible? Like, it was crazy to me. So the fact that he kind of said that person's name, it pissed me off because I'm like, I'm upset about this. Like, stop bringing up all the sad shit. Like, so I was mad. But at the same time, I was like, he's right. Like, obviously I'm going to fight for this because I believe in both of these friendships and I want to fucking fix it. But it's just, it's hard to get to that point, you guys. Mm-hmm. It's hard. Like, I mean, I would have maybe gotten there and it would have taken me a lot longer laying in bed, crying my eyes out. But having him to ground me, to like figure out like where I was and to kind of gain a grasp on reality. And he's like, if you're sitting here disaster thinking she's been doing that too, like you need to speak what's going on, So lesson learned.
And the easy way out is to not say anything at all. Mm-hmm. Because that's assuming that it's over, you know? So I, again, am just, I'm so proud of you guys, for talking about it, for bringing it out there and, and for just being real about it, because this stuff happens to anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If it can happen to us, it can absolutely happen to anybody. That's for sure. Yeah. But Jules, I did want to also kind of reinforce what you said about the whole writing letters thing, because I know it's a thing that my IRL best friend does a lot of. She writes a lot of letters, and she writes like a little 5-year-old, but she sends me little letters and postcards and stuff. And she actually has been listening to the show a lot. And she like heard one of the episodes where I think it was the episode where I was like wondering like how people were going to interact with me, as like it was when I was feeling super, super insecure about my looks and stuff, and it was that episode, and she wrote me this big huge long letter about how I'm amazing and she's known me forever, and she's known me since I had dirt in my hair and was 5, and people loved me then. And it's just, I feel like it's kind of a lost art, and at least for me, I know when someone takes the time to actually like write something down on a piece of paper and throw it in an envelope and send it to me, it's that extra little bit of effort, and it actually does mean quite a lot. So write letters, guys. Write letters.
Yeah, that's so sweet. I love that. That's someone who really cares about you.
Yeah, we've known each other a really long time. She's actually coming to visit this weekend. I'm really excited.
Yay!
I haven't seen her. I haven't spent a significant amount of time with her in a while, so I'm very, very excited to see her. But awesome. So guys, write letters. It's good. Even if there's no big like chasm you have to cross, just letters help get your point across much more than digital things.
Just saying, like, tag somebody and say, I'm thinking about you, like stupid stuff like that, like a little quick thing like here and there too, is huge, because we weren't doing any kind of stuff like that lately. So tell somebody you love how you feel. But anyway, speaking of the letter that she wrote to you about how you feel about how you look, segue.
I have lost almost 20 pounds.
Yay! I'm so proud of you. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
Yep, I'm very excited about it. My pants are falling off. I'm back down a size.
Pants off.
Yeah, pants off. I was like, I have a drawer of shame. It is like all of my clothes that I used to wear that I really liked, but I got too fat to wear them, and I didn't want to throw them out. It's a lot of summer stuff. It's just like these are like pieces that I really, really like, but it's my drawer of shame because it doesn't fit me anymore. And so I'm down almost 20 pounds. I'm like 2 pounds away from being 20 pounds down from my heaviest last summer. And we still have about 3-ish weeks until Nertacular, so I'm kind of I had a bit of a cheat weekend when the moms were here. We had some wine, and then I'm gonna have a cheat weekend when my best friend is here. We're gonna drink our faces off, and that's just happening. But outside of that, I've still been sticking to it pretty good, and I'm really, really hoping that I can get 25 pounds down before Nertacular, and that would be perfect. And then I'm gonna open my drawer of shame, and we're gonna see if it's still the drawer of shame, or if it could be like the drawer of proudness. Hope. Sure, drawer of hope.
Even the drawer of yay.
Yay.
even if it doesn't fit still at that point, you're so close. Like you're getting to your goal of it. So don't call it like still the drawer of shame. That's sad. I'm
But
proud of you.
So
That's amazing.
I'm really happy. I feel pretty good. I've been sleeping better, and
You should talk about what you did to do this.
Right. Yeah, because I don't even know if I've actually really talked about it too much on the show.
No.
But so I gave up sugar, which was really, really hard. And I didn't give up like, I guess I didn't give up sugar completely. I gave up like excess sugar. So I was eating a lot of candy. I was drinking a lot of pop. I was eating a lot of chocolate. Just like I had all of these extra sugar. And because I was I have a huge sweet tooth. Oh my God. Huge sweet tooth. And I eat sugar for energy. I eat sugar for stress. I eat sugar when I feel bad. Like I am all kind, because basically they say when you're trying to give up sugar, figure out what your triggers are. I have all of them.
Yeah.
all of them. So I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm still having sugar in my coffee. I'm not cutting sugar out completely. Like, there's just sugar in freaking everything. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to cut out all the extra sugar, like all the snacky stuff, like no more cookies, muffins, candies, like any of that kind of stuff. I cut the sugar in my coffee down to half of what I was having before. I don't drink pop anymore, which is so weird. So I'm drinking water instead. I also cut out alcohol for the most part. And actually like stuck to it this time, because I know I tried right before Christmas for a couple weeks and ended up falling off that wagon. But for me, and we stopped eating out. So we've been cooking for ourselves, like pretty much 7 days a week, you know, here and there, depending on if we're traveling or if stuff's going on, or if both of us are just busy, but even then we're like going and getting a sub instead of like McDonald's or something.
Right.
So
it's just being conscious of what your choice is, you know?
Exactly. So what I actually ended up doing, I found worked best for me, was that I needed to cut out everything. Because when I was just trying to get rid of, you know, like fatty foods, or just trying to get rid of alcohol, or just stopping with pop, soda. Soda. The problem for me is that if I don't cut everything down, I feel like I'm much more likely to fall back and to cheat, because I'm just like, well, if I can have sugar, then clearly I can have a pop, or I can have, you know, a glass of wine, and a glass of wine is never a glass of wine. It's a freaking bottle, because I love it. So it's just like I whatever I tried to cut out when it was one thing, I would usually end up slipping back within a week. But when I just cut everything, it was like, no, stop treating yourself like shit. It worked for me. I'm not saying it works for everybody. Some people need the kind of change in moderation, but for me, I was just like, okay, no, I'm just cutting everything. I need to lose weight before Intertacular. I'm going to do this. So from Easter until now, so about 6 weeks, I'm down. So I'm down 20 pounds from my heaviest last summer, and I'm down about 15 from Easter. So
yay, you kicked ass, man. Keep it up.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'm really excited and really happy about it. And it's 100%, like, I hate exercise. I hate running. I hate outside with people and bugs. It's gross. Like, I did not change anything in terms of like exercise. I know that's probably the next step, because I am very out of shape, but it was 100% just by being conscious of what I was putting in my body.
You're doing good.
Yep.
That's what I think people do wrong, is that they try to do everything all at once, and then you just get burnt out on it.
Yeah. And you were under some intense amounts of stress and still maintained that.
Dude.
I mean, you didn't, you had every opportunity for triggers on all of it, and you stayed the course. So super proud of you.
I think that was almost, it kind of helped, because I was just like, well, I feel like shit anyway, so therefore I'm just going to keep denying myself all these awesome foods that I like, because I already feel like crap. So it's not like it can get any worse.
Crying, being like, eat gross stuff. Like, everything's horrible.
But yeah, so I feel a lot better now. I feel better about myself. I've kind of been, standing up a little straighter, and, having my pants fall to the floor when I'm walking around the house is actually really funny. So I've been, it's like, I feel happier now
Good.
So and it's kind of crazy. Oh, the other thing I did want to mention though, if anyone is thinking about doing this, sugar withdrawal has been the worst thing ever. I thought I had like some sort of like flu or something. I was shaky. I had no energy. I felt like I was going to be sick to my stomach. I was like all over the place in terms of my sleeping patterns for probably like 2 or 3 days after I made the initial cut. And actually it was right at when we were traveling for Matt's grandmother's funeral. And like I wasn't even sure like if I could get in the car and make it there. I had to take Gravol to settle my stomach and try to get some sleep. And like, it was the most awful experience of my life. And I've never gone through any kind of like drug withdrawal, but I have gone through alcohol withdrawal, and sugar is 1,000 times worse because it's in freaking everything. And if your body is used to, basically what happens is your body uses energy from sugar first, fat second, protein third. So if your body is used to getting all its energy from the first source, it slowly over time, and like I say, I have a sweet tooth. I've been eating sugar and lots of it for pretty much since I was responsible for feeding myself. My parents were really, really good. We had like candy day Saturdays. I would get 1 piece of candy once a week. Like my mom was anal when it came to giving her kids sugar. So I'm not blaming it on her at all, but as soon as then I could feed myself, it was like vending machines at the high school, and I've got dollars, bitches, let's have them candy bars. So like my body was 100% used to getting its energy from sugar. So then when you're trying to teach your body to process fat and get energy from fat instead of sugar, like when that energy source is gone, your body's like, WTF, I literally don't know how to do this anymore. So what do you expect me to do, Jocelyn? And it basically like shuts down while it like relearns how to do things. And it was awful.
Poor thing.
Awful. So that was another thing that was happening while all the house things are happening and the tax bill is happening and everything else. But it has been really, really good for me in the long run, because like I say, I'm losing significant amounts of weight and I feel better. Like looking at my face, I feel like I can see it in my face and I can see it in my stomach, and I just feel better. So
good.
That's awesome.
That's the most important part, is that you feel good.
Absolutely. And so yeah, that's all of my updates with Jules.
Jules has a lot of good shit going on. You have
a lot of good stuff going on right now.
Besides her condo and moving, she's got a ton of good stuff.
It's been, you know what? This has been a good run for me, and I'm super excited. I won't take up too much time because I know we're getting long, but
I want to hear about it. Ready, go.
Okay, go. So as Nevermore mentioned, she and I had done some streaming together for crafting. And I absolutely fell in love with that. And just crafting in general. It was just so much fun to make chainmail jewelry and things like that. And it magically took off. All of a sudden, people are sending me messages asking me to make things for them.
Well, it didn't magically take off. You are ridiculously talented, and your stuff looks amazing. So it didn't just randomly, magically happen. Like, you are talented. That's why it took off.
And she's teaching herself new steps along the way, and she's like, people are excited about it, they want to buy it, but people are also interested in trying it themselves, and she's encouraging other people. She's not saying, bitch, please, this is my craft, I'm the only chain mailer in the world. She's saying, anybody can do it if you want, or I can help you and I can custom make stuff for you. You can order it through me. So like, she's doing both sides. She's not just like focusing on herself, guys.
I've been blown away by the number of people who have sent me messages saying that they've tried it themselves, and because they were inspired by me, and that just blows my mind, because holy crap, that's so cool. That is so cool to be an inspiration for other people to try it. And I got an opportunity to make a lanyard for my friend Oddish, who streams on Twitch, and I had the pleasure of seeing her open her package on her stream when she got it. And she was like, I mean, I nearly cried because I was so excited. She was so excited. And she's like, I could just feel the love that this was made in. And I was just like, oh my God, that's exactly what it was. And it was, it was this, there's just this joy that comes out of me when I make stuff, and it feels so amazing. And so I've been streaming And then there's this audience of people that come and watch me stream, and we have these great conversations, and we play all this music. And then Twitch sends me an affiliate invitation as part of that too. And I'm just like, holy crap. So it feels like everything just like fell into this place of happiness. And these people who are sending me messages saying, I just want to have something made by you, just makes me like so incredibly happy. Like, I'm actually sad that I can't promise to make anything this weekend because I gotta move. So.
But she's excited because in her new condo she can like dedicate space now.
Yes,
because you were having a hard time like getting it all set up for this, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm in my living room right now. I'm in my living room because I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment. Everything is set up in my living room. It's so funny when they show my apartment, people kind of go, "Wow, it's a crazy setup you got in here." It's like, yeah, because
she's
I'm
like
a podcaster.
I record porn.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Don't judge.
People who don't understand streaming are probably like, what is all this like recording equipment?
And the big lights, like what goes on behind the lights?
Man, you gotta show off every detail of that porn.
Oh, God.
It is. It's just I've been so incredibly happy just making stuff for people. And like Swex is in our chat room. I made a lanyard for him. People keep sending me messages and asking me to make stuff, and it's just it's incredible. And then, today I'm sitting doing my work and I get a message from Scott Johnson asking me if I'm coming to Nerdtacular. And I said, yeah, of course I'm coming. And he asked me to send him a headshot of myself to put me on the website for Nerdtacular as one of the guests that are going to be there.
Yay!
Let me just take you guys back just a couple of years to 2012. In 2012, I started doing Tauren Think Tank. It was like a month or two prior to this. I met Jocelyn at Nerdtacular 2012.
And our stories are like the same.
Yeah.
Because that was my first Nerdtacular too.
It was hers too. And I sat there in that audience that first year. I didn't know anybody. Nobody knew who I was. And I said to myself, someday I'm going to be up there with those other people that I admire so much. And then I get this message from Scott Johnson today, and he puts me up there with the people that I admire so much today. And like, I was crying today. I was like, I did it. Like, I made that happen. Like,
yeah, you did.
Aww, Jules. Because it was something that I really wanted to have happen.
It's so funny because like your aspirations for Nerdtacular were like totally the opposite of mine. I remember one of them being up on the Nerdtacular stage that first year and talking about like friend requests on Facebook and stuff, and how like it's totally cool if I know who you are, but like random requests are kind of weird, so just come up and say hi or whatever. And I remember thinking like, I hope one day he remembers who I am, and then maybe we could be friends on social media. And then like same thing with you, Jules. But it happened for me at the last Nerdtacular 2 years ago was being an invited guest because of the success of Angry Chicken, and I was just like I didn't even aspire to that because I thought it was like way up here and I was way down here, and just how far the both of us have come is just incredible.
It is absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm looking at the website right now, frogpants.com/nerdtacular, and to see my picture on that website with Jocelyn, with all of these people who I have listened to for years, and to be invited to be a part of that was just like, it blew my frickin' mind. And so, yeah, I'm just like, oh my God, you guys, like, life is so fucking good. After the last year of hell, life is really fucking good.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's amazing.
I'm putting the link in the chat room so you guys can go check Jules out.
It blew me away today. I humbled the shit out of me. Because I don't have the shows on the Frog Pants Network, but to be asked to be part of that.
We need to like make Scott some sort of butt cake or something where we could just be like, we appreciate you or whatever. Because that's where I started vending, was Nerdtacular. That was the very first show that I ever sold anything at, you guys. Ever. I'll have to see if I can find the pictures for my little tiny table there. But it, I felt special that they would let me, like, even though I paid my money and I had my table. But to feel included within this group and this community, you guys, like, everyone is so nice. Like, I can't explain it more than that. Like, everyone was so supportive, and I think that's part of what made me want to do it more, is to, like, craft more and make more. Like, and freaking the Johnson kids, like, the girls bought, like, all my stuff. Like, Kim and the girls came over and bought all my stuff, especially Carter, and I freaking love her. And just, the fact that, like, they liked it made me want to do it more. It's the same thing with Jules and her chainmail. It's like, because you get a positive response for it and it's something you enjoy doing, you want to build on that, So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, to know that you, that people are appreciating what you do. And, I've been telling Nevermore for weeks about the stuff that she's making and how awesome it is. And she's been tweeting it more. And then all of these other people are telling her how awesome it is. And it's incredible. It's incredible. And then I just have to give her huge props before we end the show, because I know we're getting long. But she went out and crafted more stuff without having anybody encourage her except for herself. After Phoenix Comic-Con, went out and started creating more stuff.
Well, and like, because of everything that was happening too, like, how my mind, like, thinks, like, imagines things. This is how I explained to Ben how sad I was. Okay. After we found out what was going on with Joss, and, like, it was my fault and all this stuff, like, and I'm heartbroken. And I know that, like, I think it was 2 nights before the show or whatever, and I needed to spend, like, that evening working on stuff. Didn't happen. Like, I was wrecked. Like, the whole night, didn't do anything. I was telling Ben, I was like, in the movie Inside Out, where sadness just touches stuff and it turns blue, like, I feel like if I go and I make something, it's just going to send out blue sad things in the world, and I don't want to sell my stuff and have them have bad, sad juju stuff. Like, that's, like, how I had to explain it, because I had zero desire to do anything. Like, it was just crushed, and, like, because we worked stuff out, and because, like, he supports me, and Jules and Joss we were talking and getting back into it, like, it inspires you, like, and you want, it lifts you up. And, like, Jules kept telling me, do your tiny micro bead things, do your tiny micro beads. I'm like, I can't, Jules, like, I haven't used them yet, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm not ready. And, like, now, like, I'm sitting at home doing my teeny tiny, like, little itty bitty perler stuff. So I have tons of them. I need to melt them. He's not melted. He's just, like, dangly.
Oh, but I was like, how is that happening?
It's because, well, when I found out, because at Comic-Con, like, everybody's like, you should always make stuff, but I'm like, I can't, because I didn't have electricity. So I came up with this cool thing, because I saw other people doing the tape method where they melt it off their boards. So I was like, why can't I do the tape method, prep stuff at con, and then melt it at night, which I didn't, because I was tired every night. But it's on tape till I melt it. And
that's incredibly cool.
I love that one, by the way.
So yeah, I know. I knew you would. So yeah, I have a whole baggie of a whole bunch of them, and I have more stuff that I'm getting ready to do at Nerdtacular, because we're all going to be there.
Yay!
So come say hi to us, guys.
Speaking of, so we have, this week is June 6th, obviously, we're doing a show. Next week, June 13th, we're going to do a hero stream, followed by a show on June 20th. And then June 27th, we're not going to be doing anything, because we're all going to be in Utah. So look for, I guess, and maybe not that week. Kind of depends what you guys are doing, because you're all American. But July 4th is going to be our normal show night. But we'll have to see how that works with you guys having your holidays and stuff. So
yeah, and I will not be there for next week's hero stream, most likely, because that's the day of my move. So
right, yes.
If I can, I will, but I doubt that I will have any energy to want to do anything.
Yes,
so.
Exactly. So it's probably just going to be Nevermore and I playing some heroes. So make sure you guys come and check it out. That's twitch.tv/JossPlays, which is exactly where we also record this show. And yeah, I think when we're doing the hero streams, we're trying to start as early as possible, possible so we can get as many games in as possible, because I still have the same hard out time because it's raid night. So yeah, you guys, just wanted to let you know what our schedule is going to be going through the rest of the month of June. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys in a few weeks at Nerdtacular. Literally like 3 weeks from tonight. Nevermore. I'm going to be hugging you and probably crying. Yay!
Yes. I'm excited for everyone to cry and hug me.
And Jules, I'm not sure, when do you actually arrive? Because I know Nevermore and I arrive on the Tuesday. When do you actually get there?
I'll be there Wednesday. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes. I'll be there
I'm
Wednesday.
really
We're leaving
excited.
Monday.
I'm very, very excited. And so make sure if you guys are attending Nerdtacular, don't be shy. It's a very small con. Take advantage of it. Make sure that you come up, say hi, let us know that you are a listener of Slaying Demons. And yeah, maybe we'll even slay some demons while we're there. You never know. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I think that's probably going to do it for us tonight. It's been a long show. We had a listener email, but we're not going to go into it tonight. I'll make sure that we get it in on the 20th. But if you would like to send in your demons, you can do so by sending them to demonspodcast@gmail.com. You can also join into our conversations over on Discord. That's discord.gg/JocePlays. That's JOCE Plays. Don't forget to follow the show on Twitter. You can find us. We are at Demons Podcast. Jules, where can folks find you in and around the interwebs?
Find me on Twitter at JulesRPG. You can also check out my other show, which is Tauren Think Tank, on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central, twitch.tv/Tauren Think Tank. And I have an Etsy store! Yay! And you can check that out. It's called Chain of Jewels. Thank you,
Which
Jayonce.
I
Freaking cute. It's so cute.
Jayonce totally came up with that name. It's all of his doing, and I think it's hilarious. So it's called chainofjewels.etsy.com, and you can check that out and see the work that I'm doing there.
Also, don't forget to totally pimp the fact that your CTR party website Kickstarter thingy is live. So everyone should go check that out and back that party, because that was a total blast last year. I'm really looking forward to being there again this year. So you guys should go check it out. Jules, do you have a short form link for that Kickstarter?
I do. converttораid.com/party takes you straight to the Kickstarter.
There you go. Everyone
It's
should go check
super
it out.
fun, you guys, and you don't need a BlizzCon ticket to go to it. Isn't it at the Hilton?
It is at the Hilton, second floor, Friday night, 8 p.m., November 3rd.
Perfect.
Super fun.
Nevermore, where can folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Quoted Nevermore. And I also have an Etsy, which is closed right now because, one, I've been lazy and not updating it. But two, I'm prepping to go to Nerdtacular and vend since it's the last year. I just have to send Scott Johnson all my money. But I will be there, and we will be packing minimalistically to get my stuff there. And I will have new stuff, like all my little 8-bit things and some other cool stuff. Like I didn't finish it for Comic-Con, so I still have all the mermaid bottles and the unicorn crystallized tiered bottles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have all those because I didn't finish those in time. And I am also on Twitch now. I'm slowly not being a noob. I decided, though, that instead of doing Quoted Nevermore, it's twitch.tv/Geek Asylum, which is my Etsy shop, because of reasons. So that is where I will be streaming. And I'm going to try to stream on my own, you guys, on occasion. I'm going to try. I'm scared to do it, but I'm going to try. And we're going to try to do...
It's super fun.
I know, but I don't know. And we're going to try to do threesome streams later when my computer can handle it, because right now my computer can barely run it if we have two. So it's going to be harder to run it with three. But we are going to be crafting on and off like between now and then. And I don't know if Joss is doing a Get Nailed before Nerdtacular.
Absolutely.
Yes,
At least two more Get Nailed before Nerdtacular.
Yeah, I think these two might be streaming this weekend. Might be.
Joss
Hopefully,
is busy
yes.
this weekend because she has.
Oh, that's
her
right,
real
you're
life
not.
friend.
Yeah,
You're not.
So
Yeah.
I might be able to do it Sunday, but yeah. So the last ones we did were Wonder Woman nails. I'm still rocking
Which
them.
were
They still look
amazing.
so good.
Incredible.
And the movie was amazing. So if you haven't seen it yet, guys, go see the movie.
Yes,
like
go see
seriously,
the movie.
why are you still listening to me right now? Go to a movie theater. Go.
Jules,
We need to
go.
have we
I'm
need to have
recording
a
this damn
spoiler
show.
a spoiler channel for it, so we can talk about it because it was so good.
Yeah,
I know.
I agree.
Anyway,
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm at Joss Plays. You can also find links to all of the other shows that I do over on AmoveTV. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week for Heroes of the Storm. Pew, pew, pew.
Love you guys.
Good.
Bye.
Bye, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us.